Everyone, hope everything is going well with all of you. I know I did this short notice. Anyways, Steve Splenda, how is Ohio, the great state of Ohio, doing today?
We're doing well, man.
You doing well?
Doing
You
all
doing
right.
well?
We're getting by. We got a lot of
You're getting
things going for us outside of
okay.
the political field. We got high school football, so like everyone in the state is happy about that.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I don't know.
Any
We haven't had
anyone
any.
eating the dogs and the cats? I think that was an issue last time in your state.
Well, yeah, that was a problem at some point. I think it was Springfield specifically where a lot of that stuff was being reported, and I know some people would disagree, but it's like you'd have to look into it. That stuff was being reported. Um, but yeah, I think things are pretty tamed. We're not uh, we're not seeing anything crazy yet, but there's still a lot of time until inauguration and stuff. But
I
yeah,
mean, like, I think I saw reports of Antifa in Seattle the other day.
I'm not surprised about that. I actually saw something about some protest in your neck of the woods. There was some
Yeah, in
march
Chicago.
in Chicago, I think.
Yeah, so what happened on Wednesday, they told us don't come into work. And I'm thinking, okay, it's like 15 minutes from where I work. I think it is at the Daily Plaza or formerly the Daily Plaza. But they said to go home early, like only like 10 people showed up. I'm like, this is dumb. This is idiotic. Nothing's going to be happening during the day and all that. This is not 2020 anymore. And nothing happened where I was at. It was only in the nighttime. And
Hmm.
they just went to Trump Tower. That's about it. Like everyone was scared that a bomb's gonna go off or something like that. I'm like, no. Well, not now.
I mean, there's still time for that type of stuff to happen. Um, but yeah, I figured you'd have some type of like protest, which I think that's American. Like as long as you're not doing anything crazy and you know violence and harm and stuff like that, like you can gather, assemble, and
Yeah,
show some
I'm all for
frustration.
peaceful protest.
Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
that's the American way. But oh yeah, so this story I overheard at work the other day. So this rich suburb out of Chicago, it's like I think Wilmette. Anyways, I heard that his son's high school, they told some people refuse to go to work. I mean, refuse to go to school. And do you know why the reason why they refuse to go to school?
I can guess, but I enlighten me.
What's your guess?
I would probably say because I've seen different reports from different academia, um, like a grieving process due to the
Yes,
election.
it was a grieving
Like
process.
kids, they were like a lot of these professors I've seen. I have to think on it. I can't remember which universities. There's actually one in Ohio. I think it was OU. I think Michigan State was another one I was reading where these press professors were um, putting it out for like social media where it's like we're canceling classes so that kids can have a grieving process for the election. That they had interactions with a bunch of people, students, I guess, where it's like they're just distraught, uh, and
So
they need time to grieve for all this stuff, and I don't know,
what's up with
pretty
this
wild.
generation? People say crap about millennials, but these Gen Z and young people, I don't know what the hell is up with them.
I I agree. I think you're seeing. How do I want to say this? I think you're seeing pockets of it. Like I don't know, like where I would guess percentage wise that the population of that demographic that is like that, but I think you're seeing a very countercultural shift where there's a big group of based people in this younger demographic too, where they're like, yeah, we're kind of tired of this nonsense. So I think like the specifics we're talking about is like college campuses, certain demographics, like certain areas of pockets. But I think you're seeing you're seeing a bunch of young, specifically men. You're seeing a bunch of young men where they're like, we're done with this. This oversensitive narrative is getting out of hand. Where I think you're seeing a lot of young men starting to push back, which, in my bias view, is a good thing.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Let's look at some of the comments before you get into other topics. Bob Boozle, what's going on, man? I called AIH city manager. The manager cannot confirm that Donald Trump won the election. Well, they still have to certify it. Remember what happened 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Brendan
Well,
Ryan.
I'm only seeing B. Ryan's comments. I can't see Bob.
Bob Boozle? Oh, he said the word Donald Trump. So if you say the word Donald Trump, I guess that's going to get you shadow banned.
Mhm.
Brendan Ryan says Powell is getting ready for tinfoil hat activity. Powell, as in the Fed chair. Bob Boozle says professional cuddlers are in for a bump in demand.
Yeah, man, they're going to be working
So
overtime.
is that like
They'll be
Michael
working
Rubin?
overtime, and from what I'm hearing,
You what happened?
we might not be taxing overtime.
Oh yeah,
That's what I hear. So the cuddler workers, they'll be cashing in with a lot of overtime.
is Michael Rubin going to be cashing in?
Oh, well, of course.
Throwing
I
some
mean,
meat mill there.
who knows if the money's real, but we'll be told that it's a lot of money.
Money's real.
Who knows? Dude? I don't know what to believe within this card market.
It's true. Brendan Ryan says everyone gets a trophy. Oh yeah, it's the trophy generation. Well, I did get a trophy in Little League baseball, but they shouldn't have given it to me, to be honest. But
We had to earn ours, man. We didn't get, if I remember right, when I was in Little League, you didn't get trophies unless you were like first or second.
yeah, it's like I remember at my old job, I had to work my tail off to get to where I'm at. And then I see these younger people, they complain a lot, they whine a lot. It's like, and they get paid more than me. I'm like, oh my God. They
Yeah.
want to be handheld at a high position. I'm like, you don't know what I went through
Hmm.
to get to where I'm at. I had to bust my tail off. But I don't know.
Yeah. And it's reflecting in society. And like we were talking about those specific demographics where it's like that probably represents the people that can't go to classes because they're too hurt to endure college school, college courses that they're paying for because of something like an election. You know, it's kind of it's like that eighth place trophy mentality where it's like your feelings need validated and good and bad. It's like I don't know. That's foreign to me. I don't get it.
Yeah, and then now you have to watch what you say at work. You have to be professional. Otherwise, it's I forget the word I was told at work because I deal with people of the opposite sex, and I was told, "Hey, be careful how you talk. Be careful how you interact with them, or it's a hostile work environment." I was told. I'm like, "What? If you're aggressive in your tone, that's how it is now."
Yeah.
It's like
And there's
I
a
don't know.
difference. There's a difference in being aggressive in your tone because you're trying to get work done, you're trying to be thorough, you're trying to be on time versus like being belligerent. And I don't understand this correlation where it's like if you're aggressive in your tone, that's like automatically belligerent and you're offensive. I don't get that.
It's like I used to go at my old boss all the time. We had confrontations all the time. You can't do that today. And this was only 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. Bob Boozle, good advice. You can't whip that thing out at work anymore.
Oh, Bob.
Whoa, man.
Oh, Bob. I'm glad I don't work with you, Bob.
Yeah, what job do you do, Bob?
That's funny.
Bro. Oh, man. So
Good times.
Patches, I'm charging $45 a LB for every 15 minutes to cuddle. Okay. SCR is quitting. Things are strange now. I don't know if they're like quitting in air quotes. They're still going to be doing videos, but it's not going to be as much.
I think I heard they're not doing lives anymore or something.
Or they're doing like maybe once in a while.
Mm.
Like once is so if something crazy happens, they're going to definitely do that. So if it's like someone big in the hobby gets arrested, I'm pretty sure they're going to have a live for that.
I'm probably sure they're going to do content, but it might not be that long format every week. They're going
Yeah.
live. I mean, I would assume they're probably going to do like a weekly video or every other week. You know, they're good at what they do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it'd be a shame to see them just like totally. Uh,
I want to see Reckoning call in. Like
oh yeah,
that's what
dude.
I'll miss.
That,
I listened to the last two Reckoning parts, and I'm like, this is gold.
yeah, dude.
This is
Well, I mean, nothing against them. They do a good thing, but that is the most entertaining portion of their lives. When you've sent me like when you got a hold of me and told me, "Hey, bro, John called. You got to check it out." And I was like, "All right, I'll watch."
yeah. Last week was amazing. Wonder if he's gonna call in today.
Tell him. I don't know. Do you have any? If you
I
have
don't.
any way of getting contacting him? I
I
mean,
don't have
I'm
any
sure
way
he's
of contacting
subscribed,
him.
so like the
He
live will
usually is
pop
in the
up.
comment section 40 minutes in. He's like, I want to call in. I'm like, okay. What do
I
you
don't
want to
think.
talk about? You want to talk about the deep state?
Yeah.
We can talk about the deep state and Trump. All right. I heard at some point after I graduated from high school, the football team stopped cutting players during tryouts. That's bad. That's really bad.
Depends on like yeah. I mean, context there where I'd say like if you're a small school, like you might need kids where it's just like you need people to fill out a roster. But like if you're the type of school that can like compete and you're a bigger school, like I would imagine there's probably still tryouts and people can get cut. Because when I was in high school, I started at a small Catholic school. We didn't cut anybody because we were small. But then when I went to the
Yeah.
public school, my senior year, like they cut people from varsity. So I don't know. Maybe that has a factor.
Right. Brendan says something interesting. No eye contact in the office can get you in trouble too. Laugh out loud. So we have this interesting HR policy. So suppose you're looking in the direction of a person of the opposite sex. What if they think you're checking them out,
Yeah, I was
their
just gonna.
body? Now,
I was
that's sexual harassment now. I'm
Yeah,
like, wait,
I was
what?
just gonna say, dude, like, it's just, I mean, I'm not telling you how to speak, but
Yeah.
like, let's just say it how it is. Like, you're not allowed to look at women.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, do I look
If a man
down?
were to
Do
go
I
to
look down
HR
and
and
speak to
say,
them?
someone looked at me, and it would not even, it wouldn't even be a blip. No one would care. But if a woman made an accusation where it's like, hey, this man just kept looking at me, it's
You're
totally
done.
different.
It's like, how do you like defend yourself? Like, what if you're not looking at her? Maybe like I used to have a bad habit where I used to like days out and just stare, and I wasn't even aware that I was just, you know, glaring at someone
Mhm.
when I was younger. But I stopped doing that. But as I got older, but it wasn't like, oh, I'm checking them out. But I don't know.
Yeah, man. Wow. Do you
It's
see a
weird.
lot of these viral things where it's like men can't even go to the gym anymore? Where it's like you'll see these clips.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
Guys will just go to the gym, and I don't think there's anything malicious. Like, and I'm not going to say that men don't look at women at the gym. I'm sure they do, but it's
I'm
like,
like when they're young, okay, that's like a normal thing for guys, like when they're young. But like as adults, like I mind my own business. I'm not
yeah,
going
yeah.
there to like check
Problem
out
is though, it's like if
chick.
you even glance, these women have these cameras in these gyms, and I think they do it on purpose, where it's like they want to get a guy canceled for just like looking or gazing in their direction. It's like, man, this is so manufactured. This is crazy. Like, no matter what, it almost seems like whatever a guy does. Now, I know this isn't over representation of the entire society, but it seems like there's a trend where uh, kind of want to make men out to look a certain way, even if it's not malicious. It's kind of crazy. Kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
it's nuts. And then like I remember some people used to like give like a massage. Now we're not talking about Deshaun Watson massage. It's just like okay, upper neck. Now that's a no at in the
Oh yeah,
workplace
don't
now.
touch anybody. Yeah, don't touch it. I
It's like
don't care who you
what?
are. Don't touch anybody at
Yeah,
work.
don't.
It's not worth it.
It's like
You could have the
uh,
best of intent. Don't do it.
it's
Don't
like
do
you
it.
go to happy hour if you're like talking to a chick for a long time, you're gonna get glared at.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know, man. This is just we live in a just like lazy generation without ever being told no to anything. Not looking forward to getting old and having these crybabies take care of me. People are just looking to throw people under the bus now. I mean, I had that in the old job. People used to throw it under the bus. It was a New York-based environment, so I don't know, but it's the generation now.
Mhm.
Ziggy, what's going on?
Oh, is that
No, I
Zig?
didn't. Yeah, Card Hunter.
Oh, I see the picture now. Okay, cool. What's
Yeah,
up,
it's
Zig? I didn't realize that was his
so
account.
it's like you
Yeah.
hear about the text messages in the DC area to report to your plantation. No, I have not, and that's probably like yeah. I mean, throw in your tinfoil hat conspiracy.
I don't even. I'd need more context on what he's
Contract.
talking about.
I know he lives in that area, so like he
Mhm.
would probably know. I'll ask my buddy about that.
Text messages in DC to report to your plantation. I wonder what that means.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Hmm.
Hook up John Reckoning and Christine. Yes.
Who's
Yes.
Christine?
A regular on SCR. Oh, you don't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I
yeah,
know who
yeah.
you're talking about. I know who you're
She's in
talking
her
about.
50s. He's in his 50s.
Dude,
They
I
both,
heard
they both.
John 50s. John looks like he's 30, bro.
Oh, is he? Oh, yeah. He said that, right?
Yeah, dude. I listened to it the other day. John's like a stud.
Yeah,
He
he
doesn't
gets
have
all
time
the
for these
chicks,
50 year
man.
old
We gotta
women.
learn his tricks.
He's a stud, bro.
Oh man. Let's see. Caleb Williams paints his fingernails and asks to be paid as a corporation to evade taxes while bawling in his mom's arms after losing in college. She's part of the new generation. Is it just an act?
I don't know, man. It's weird. Partially, I think it. I think that's a good point. I think more of it is an act than it is sincere. I don't think his natural reaction would be to like cry and do all these. I think it's probably like, I have a name, I have a brand, I know the cameras are on me, so it's like what can make me trend? And I think that's a lot to do with it. Attention is a currency. Um, and the more attention people gain, it works towards their branding currency. So I think that has a lot to do with it versus sincerity.
That's true. Speaking of attention, for some reason, I didn't vote. I didn't vote, but for some reason, this tends to trigger people. I don't know why.
Hey, I was just gonna say, I got my buddy with me sitting in the back. I don't know if you can
Who's
see
your
it.
buddy?
It's a
Oh,
trumpet band.
oh, the
Chump-
Trumpy Bear. I've never
Yeah,
heard of that until you messaged me about that.
we were hanging out. Had to go find him. My cousin sent me him as a joke.
Oh, okay.
Uh, what was it? I think it was in the 2020 cycle.
Yeah.
Um, he sent me. I got a package and I opened it up. I'm like, what the hell is this? A teddy bear? And I went like 2 weeks, and then he came back into town because he's down in. Actually, he lives down where Ziggy's in his area,
Mm-hmm.
and he came and visited. This was like 2 weeks after I got the package. He shows up at my house,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Did you like your package?" And I'm sitting here thinking, like, "What are you talking?" And I'm it's like, "Oh, that was you." Like he sent it to me as like a goof. So I had to go find it when he told me let's go live. So I thought it was fitting. Thought it was fitting.
Yeah. This election cycle was quite fitting. I thought like I was listening to Reckoning last night on SCR, and then he was saying something like, "Well, they put her in on purpose."
I don't think he's far off on that.
No.
I don't think that's a bad
I
thing.
think that she was the one to take the fall, and I think they're gonna do some crazy stuff under Trump. Like, I've been calling for a crash. I still think,
Oh,
despite him winning, they're gonna crash the system, and
yeah.
that's why I didn't vote for him this time around.
I still
I'm
think
like,
there's gonna be some goofy economic. I mean, I don't think this is like an overnight, "Oh, the economy's fixed." Like, we're gonna
no,
go
I
through
mean,
some
like, we
tough
were pretty much close to a recession
Mhm,
right now, and then I don't know. Okay, yeah, my stocks are doing well, the ones that I kept, but
mhm.
I'm on my way out. I don't know. Something seems off.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I think the better candidate won, but I don't think we're out of the woods just yet as far as economic and foreign policy with a lot of the stuff that's been going on the last 3, 4 years. Um, you know, and I would agree. Like, I think John's onto something where it's like, do I fully trust Trump? No. Um, do I think Kamala could have been like a puppet fall candidate? Possibly. Where it's like maybe they just didn't intend on winning this. I don't know. Your mind goes like a million different directions when you start.
I mean, like, why would you put someone that got slaughtered by Tulsi Gabbard and didn't even get 1% of the vote? So this was definitely thrown, in my opinion,
Yeah,
and they did it on purpose. And the way that you're gonna see them get back into power is through a crash, and that's how I see it. I could be wrong.
that's fair. Like if things take such an economic dump where it's inevitable despite who's in, that could be like a hey, look, the market crashed under Trump. You have to vote for us now. I think that's plausible.
And you know how we see this in the hobby, and you could look at the real world too. So what I talk about, what a few other people talk about, it's viewed as crackpot theories early on, and then eventually it gets proven right.
Mhm.
And I'm just seeing people have this crazy moment. We were talking before air that how could people actually think the way that they do? Like where they're getting their information from. I get it. People have different opinions,
Mhm.
right? That's fine. But I just don't understand how people come to this type of conclusion. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of factors. I think you hit the nail on the head. It's like, where are you getting your information from? That's the source. I think culture has a lot to do with it. Um, there's a lot of trends within certain groupings of people, and they might come to their conclusions that way. But I do think a lot of it has to do where it's like, we've been talking for years now, dude. You've been kind enough to invite me on. What's it been like over 2 years now?
Yeah.
And we've talked about the mainstream media. So, unfortunately, and fortunately, the mainstream media is going to hook and sink a lot of people in their perspective. And what are you going to do? Yeah, there's nothing you can do. People pay for basic cable; they're going to watch the basic narratives. But I think if you look at the world around you and you see things, and I think this election had a pretty good reflection where it was. I mean, it wasn't even close. So I think a lot of the people, like that's where I'm somewhat optimistic, but I do think there's still, you should be speculative and have some skepticism. Where it's like I think you did see a mass wave of people rejecting a lot of the mainstream things. That's why you had the turnout and the results you did. Sure, I don't agree with Trump on everything, but I do think you saw a large demographic of people who were like, I'm tired of this mainstream agenda pushed down my throat. I'm going to either vote spitefully or vote because I did go to an uh, independent source of media. So those are just kind of my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, like, just if someone looks at it from an unbiased point of view, have you heard of Polymarket?
Yeah.
Okay. So Polymarket was pricing in like Trump is going to win. This was like Monday, Tuesday morning, and all of that. And I told this to the valedictorian of my high school. He says, no, Kamala's going to win. They gamble on these sites and all that. I'm like, um, people have big money around this. I don't think they'd do that, would mess with that. And Vegas odds also place Trump higher. And he hasn't messaged me since the election. It's like, I don't know, like, you could have the highest IQ out there, but you can't analyze things from an unbiased point of view. I think this is what's wrong in the hobby, and I think this is what's wrong in the real world. It's like, okay, yeah, you don't have to agree with Trump or Kamala. You could be in between, like I am, and just look from an level-headed playing field. Not playing field, but just look at it from a unbiased point of view. I don't get it. I just
Well,
don't understand how people are so not backwards thing. It's just insanity, the way to put it. I'm just looking at my wife's friends on Instagram, and they unfollowed me during the election,
mhm.
and they're just saying crazy ass shit. I don't know.
I think I think a part of this is human nature, an unfortunate reality of human nature, where it's like people want their biases confirmed, and if they're in a certain camp and they're hearing the narrative and agenda that they agree with, they're not going to outsource and look at different things from a non-biased um, viewpoint. So a lot of it
Yeah.
is human nature, where it's like these talking points make me feel good, comfortable, and safe. It's what I agree with. Um, so I think if a person is comfortable, they're not going to move their mindset to a place where it's going to challenge those comfortable thoughts and feelings they have. I mean, take like for an example, like, dude, I hate working out. It makes
Yeah.
me uncomfortable. I have to force myself to run, to lift, to do certain things. Like I have if I didn't do that, like I'd be fat, I'd be eating whatever I want. You know what I mean? Like it takes discipline to break your comfort zone. Like I have to motivate myself all the time to be like, get your ass up and run. Like go do something. Like you have to force that uncomfort on yourself. I think that's good for you. I think it's good for your mental well-being, your physical well-being. But to correlate what you're saying, like from a information perspective, like yeah, you're going to have people that won't force themselves out of that comfort zone because it's part of our human nature to
It's
seek
like
seek comfort in, you know,
confirmation bias.
in a sense, yeah.
And the thing is that it seems that a lot of people are in their own echo chamber because I remember, I was going after Lameme James, eventually he came after me. I'm like, okay, fine. I'm taking all these shots. But then I saw in the comment section that people said that I needed to get my head checked because I had some opinions that were just bonkers in their mind.
Mhm.
Even though, I've been more right than wrong compared to like the mainstream of the hobby, I'm thinking like, I don't know where you're coming from. I don't get it. And I think that's why a lot of people get annoyed because my channel is not for confirmation bias. It's like even my loyal supporters, I'm not here to pander to you.
Mhm.
I don't
Well, I
know.
think this is like I'm not going to go too deep on it.
Yeah.
Like this makes sense to me. I'm not surprised by a lot of these things. Like given my theological worldview, this is kind of how things are supposed to be. If you're in search of the
Yeah.
truth is not supposed to make you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Uh, it's going to challenge you. It's going to cause separation amongst
Yeah.
peers, family. Like so, given my dogmatic uh, epistemology. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is kind of how the world's supposed to be. So I'm not
Yeah.
like, if people like you were talking about some certain family members, peers, and friends, like I'm to the point where it's like I expect people I've been close with that are going to reject certain truths, and we can debate those truths, but it's like they're not going to truly seek out truth from an unbiased lens. They'd rather depart from that relationship, and they'd rather go that far than it's like I want to kind of, maybe I'm wrong, you know maybe I'm too comfortable in my echo chamber, maybe I should branch out a little bit, maybe it's not healthy for me. A lot of people aren't going to do that. So, and I'm not trying to go down a theology rabbit hole, but
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that that's kind of the world we live in.
I mean, the thing that I am a bit surprised about is it wasn't like this 10 years ago. Like,
Mm,
or maybe for me, it wasn't. It was like, okay, we were all getting maybe how I was maybe like 12 years ago. Everything
I
was
would agree with
like we
you.
were, maybe you had it differently, but it wasn't tension. I think tension started to happen right like 2013 under Obama. That's when I started to see some tension, and people didn't like some of the things I said, and they wanted to stop talking to me or keep my distance and all that stuff. I'm like, I'm not gonna hold back because it offends you.
Right.
So I don't know.
I don't disagree. I think 10 years is a fair time frame. Maybe I'm just looking at it slightly different because maybe I wasn't looking into a lot of these things, and I was like totally checked out from all of it. So maybe how am I trying to say this? Maybe I'm not. I think you're right though. Like we didn't have this type of divide and this, but we didn't have this independent information source the way we did 10 years ago too. So that's probably a big factor.
Like I get it. It, like people have different opinions, but it was never this toxic. I don't know what exactly changed. Is like the algorithm for these companies, they're like, okay, say the most batshit crazy things that'll go viral, that'll get you clicks, and then go from there, even though it's BS.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. That's what it is.
Sorry, bro. I'm just checking one thing.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm not trying to
Yeah, that's fine. Let me take a look at some of the comments here.
pay attention a little bit to this Suns game.
Oh, got some money at it.
No, no, I don't bet anymore. I gave that up.
Bargain boxer.
I gave that up.
Oh man, I'm going to this patches. AB and Elon were the real winners in the election, man. AB's Twitter page is amazing.
Dude. That's what I was just gonna say, man. There's two people I have to give credit. I told you and Dan, what was it, like a week ago or 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago? I got banned in 2021 off
Twitter?
Twitter when
Yeah.
Dorsey was owning it, and
Yeah.
that woman, I can't remember. They were
The
on
lawyer,
Rogan's
the Indian lawyer, right?
podcast with Tim Pool where he was debating him.
Yeah.
But I got banned in 2021. So between you sending me, so I got to give credit to you and Antonio Brown. Between you sending me AB tweets, eventually, like the closer we got to the election, I was like, all right, you know what? Let me hop back on. Let me create a new. I couldn't get my old one back because I was banned. But yeah, I jumped back on the Twitter sphere and or X, whatever it's called now. AB he is hilarious, dude. He is the definition of I don't give a shit. If it goes in his head, he's tweeting it. It's pretty entertaining.
I wonder how he was as a teammate, though.
Who
If
knows?
he's like this, like right now.
Who knows? I don't know. I've heard all kinds of wild stuff about him as a player, but like, who knows? People grow. Like, he might not even be the same person he was. What was he playing in? Like in Pittsburgh, that was what, like
Yeah, he said he's getting
5+
therapy or
years
something
ago?
like
Yeah,
that.
like 6 years ago.
Yeah, he said
So
that he's
it's like,
getting therapy, and he called Tom Brady or something like that. But
mhm.
he just says, "Oh my God, this Jimmy Kimmel picture. Are you on your computer right now?"
No,
I
well,
think
yeah.
Pat just probably has seen it because he follows him on Twitter. You got to see his latest tweet on Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh, I think I did see that. Oh, I think it was. Wasn't it about him and Stephen Colbert?
No, it says Saturdays are for the cocks, and it looks like some white stuff is on his face.
Oh, dude. Let me look. Ah, bro. AB wins again. He stays winning Twitter.
Oh my God.
That's pretty crazy. Dude, it's pure comedy. He is pure comedy.
And then he has a blank of the day and shows a white person.
That's funny, dude. That's funny,
That is hilarious.
bro. That is pure comedy.
My buddy asked him, "Hey, can I be the blank of the day?" He also shows his cat. Or he asked, "Can the cat be the blank of the day?" I'm not gonna say it, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be used out of context.
TTS and all that stuff. I
Yeah.
was gonna go. I think Low Roller Scratcher. Did I say that right? Yeah, he was bringing up stuff that we were talking about earlier. To go back a little bit, and I was gonna say something, but I don't know how TTS. Are you allowed to talk about the 2020 election? You're on
You could talk
I'm
about
on.
it now. I could talk about whatever now because on YouTube you could talk about the fake election. I mean the fake votes. Now you could talk about the pandemic. You
Yeah,
could talk about ivermectin.
I think Bob.
How is this censored? Like they got rid of all those rules like
Yeah.
a
All right. Well, then
year
I'll
and a
say
half
because
ago.
Bob was commenting. I think it was Low Roller and Bob were
Yeah,
kind of like, there was a lesser turnout this election cycle.
yeah.
Makes you wonder because some of the things I was reading, it's like there's like a 15 to 25 million vote difference total. So it's like, where did those votes go? And if I'm not to believe that this was a very hyper proactive election cycle, why would there be less total votes than 2020?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously hanky panky went down in what Atlanta, like I even had my wife say this. Like, remember they had the water line break or
Yeah,
something?
when they're counting, there's just so
Yeah, I'm
many
like, oh,
things.
she's like, what the hell? Like, this never happens. She
Well,
even noticed it too. Like, we didn't vote that election either. But we're like, okay, that's hanky panky. And then like Michigan, I woke up at 4 a.m. that day in 2020. I'm like, wait, how the hell did freaking Trump lose all those votes? How did Biden get so many? He has
I don't know.
dementia.
I don't know.
He sniffs kids. You
Yeah.
telling me that he got all of the vote in Detroit? No.
Well, what you brought up the water break, like the pipe bursting and
Yeah.
stuff, counting and stuff. And my initial thoughts is because I was seeing a lot of reports of like with the absentee or early voting ballots, the mail-in ballots and stuff. Like there were people getting ballots for like a lot of deceased family members and different things. Where it's like, what would be your like if there's a difference of let's say like 15 to 20 million votes? Like, is that because dead people didn't get to vote this cycle?
I don't think they could rig it to the extent that they did in 2020. I mean, just looking at I don't know if you've heard of the Benford Law, but
You might have to refresh.
you should. I could send it to you. So this is why I figured that 2020 was rigged. But basically, the Benford Law has like a uniform distribution that most of the numbers and the digits hit the ones and so on. Then it's twos and all that. So the voting, I think, based on the districts and how it came out, it should follow some sort of symmetric curve. And for Trump and Kanye and like some of the other independents, it followed Benford's law.
Hmm.
And if you look at some counties of Biden where the votes seem weird, it did not follow the Benford law. I have to show like a graph of this. Like this was wild. And because it did not follow Benford's law, that was a huge red flag. And the IRS uses the Benford law to figure out fraud.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought there was like some hanky panky going on.
Yeah.
Now, the way that they fought it, like they said, Dominion this, I couldn't prove Dominion, but you could prove Benford law. I
Mhm.
think that's where they messed up. Like in
Yeah.
other things that went off.
I think the
That
circumstances of 2022 really enabled maybe some of this potential fraudulence where it
yeah,
was like the culture at the time, it was like this was the perfect setting for it.
yeah,
Because now, from what I heard, there was a lot of people ballot watching. There was a
yeah,
lot of people on the scenes. Lawyers were ready, so
yeah.
they were probably really prepared. Where it was like you'd really have to get ballsy to try to do something funny this time, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, like this time around, it wasn't gonna happen. It wasn't gonna happen at all. And I still think 2020 Trump won a lot more states. I mean, than what they're arguing over Michigan and Georgia. I think it was way more.
Hmm.
But once again, just like what Nixon's election got rigged, right? 1960 was it? I forget what it was.
No, that would have been Kennedy.
Kennedy. So was it 60?
Nixon would have been after Kennedy.
Okay, I forget what year. But I remember reading that his was rigged. He should have won. I think wasn't that against Kennedy? Did he go against Kennedy? I forget.
Oh, well, I was going to say it was rigged for Kennedy,
Yeah,
whichever
it was
year it
rigged for
was.
Kennedy, but then it was
I don't know if he faced Nixon or not. I'm not sure. Maybe,
yeah,
maybe.
it was against Nixon. Like they were doing so much hanky panky then.
Yeah,
So like they did like
it
they
had to do
followed
a
a
lot with
similar
his
pattern.
dad and some of
What?
the. That had to do a lot with his dad,
Yeah,
Joe
he controlled the
Kennedy, and
mafia,
his
right?
affiliation with the mafia. Because some of the
Right,
states that they were, because you had to think they controlled the unions.
right.
They had a lot of control in certain states where they could flip them. So that's where a lot of the theories of Kennedy's connections with the mafia stem from his dad, and they got him in office.
Oh, it's a hobby with Cage. What's going on, man? Tricky Dick and Hanky Panky. Hey, Cage, do you have that interview that
My tricky
remember
dick, my tricky
Tricky
dick,
Dick?
and your hanky panky.
Hey, Cage, do you have that interview and podcast when you had me on when you were with Andrew? I was looking for it. I couldn't find it. If you could find it and send it over, man. He sent me the link. Okay, I'll take a look later. Awesome. I want to look at because I said something about Bitcoin then, and I want to
Mhm.
like if someone gives me crap again saying, "Oh, you're saying the economy is gonna crash and this and that," I'm like, "Yeah, I thought 2024 would be the year. I could
Yeah,
be a little early, but I'm still riding with Tesla, dude. Just imagine. Speaking of Tesla, how insane these hedge funds and lefties are by shorting Tesla stock because they don't like his politics. And then Tesla has ripped over $100 over the past month for various reasons, but partly because of the election,
pretty
partly
crazy.
beat on earnings.
It's
Like
pretty
you
crazy.
have to be insane if you get your politics involved in investing.
That's why, yeah, I would agree. Even though how I might feel about certain things, like
Yeah.
no, I I don't mix the two.
Yeah, I mean like okay, you may not like Disney and their agenda,
Hmm.
but like it's kind of crazy shorting it because that creates opportunities if they, beat earnings or whatever.
Hmm.
I don't know.
No, that makes sense. I mean, I know guys that were probably on our side of the camp with a lot of the 2020 stuff, and they pulled a lot of their retirements and stuff. And I'm like, whoa, what are you
Yeah,
doing?
that's cuckoo
I'm
for
like,
Cocoa
that's
Puffs.
crazy, dude.
Like
I
under
might
Biden,
go
wait,
like,
under Biden, they took their retirement account
yeah,
out.
dude. There's
What?
a lot of guys I know, like they went off the deep end on certain things. Where I'm like, that's not a good
Yeah,
idea.
that's not a good idea. Like whatever political bias you have, the
Mhm.
best thing out there is take your bias
I
out.
actually know guys on both sides of the aisle that were doing that. They were like panicking in 2020, and they were pulling their retirements and stuff. And I was like,
But
man, I was like, I don't think that's a wise decision. If you had some type of financial advisor, I would kind of lean on them, discuss these things before you start doing it. But yeah, I don't care how you lean politically. Your finances, you got to be really non-biased.
you have
You
to.
got
Yeah,
to be,
I've
you got to
gotten
be.
smoked in the past, so now
Mhm,
I've learned like, hey, look, I don't care if it's a left winger or a right winger, independent. Who
mhm.
cares? Just fine. There's opportunities every day.
For sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
So
And money doesn't know political affiliations. Like
yeah, exactly.
certain things are gonna boom and bust despite the letter next to a candidate's name.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So speaking of what is it called? 401ks. Jeff Wilson said, "Forget your 401ks. Let's invest in sports cards."
Yeah.
He had a shirt like that. I remember BK Sports Cards always posted that. I'm like, dude, this was not. If you said that in 2017, I could be like, okay, fine. 2018, that was actually. I'm not saying, if we turn back the clocks, I would forget about my 401k. People could have 10x their money within
Oh
two,
yeah.
3 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know. This is what we were talking about this in 2022.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
remember when you started having me on. It was probably like 2 years ago. And we were like,
yeah, yeah.
dude,
About two
this
years ago, yeah.
idea that you think cardboard pictures of men are an asset or a portfolio, some type of like I was like, that's not the reason to get into this hobby. I think a lot of people were manipulated to get into this because of that mindset. It's like, this is dangerous. This is not smart. I understand the conditions and culture of uh, the COVID situation where it's like, yeah, money was getting printed and cards kept going up until a certain point, and it was like this is not a healthy market. Um,
Yeah, I mean,
and I think a lot of people that were jumping on that train advising young men, because that's what it was. A lot of people were advising young men to do this type of financial venture, not knowing anything of the history of cards, not knowing anything. Like, sure, okay, your 52 tops mantle is an investment. Okay, your 86 Fleer PSA 10 Jordan, that could be an investment. But we're talking about the 0.001% of cards. This is a hobby. These are collectibles. And the guys that advise people to like quit their jobs and get into card flipping and doing a lot of things. And there's examples of success stories. God bless them, but that was stupid. And you're going to see long term effects in the hobby. I still feel that way.
um, Patches says this: when I was a latent customer, that was a huge joke in the chat. Cash in your 401k to buy into huge breaks.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know, man.
I just feel like there's a lot of young men. If they would have invested their money at that time and like done something smart, um,
Freaking, you could have bought,
yeah,
what is it, 2020? You could have
yeah,
bought like anything at that
anything,
time.
dude.
Like,
Real
you could have
estate,
bought Bitcoin, you
anything.
could have bought Coinbase, not
Yes,
Coinbase, but like MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy is crazy.
and you can
You
still
could have
dabble in
gotten
the hobby as like a
Apple,
side thing. You know, it's
Tesla.
like a fun side thing and try to make money. That's fine, but like for you to like actually pretend that this is an investment and you're going to include it in your portfolio, Might be one of the most slapdick things you could say.
Yeah. So on our show, Rahul said to sell modern QBs and buy low-end Mays and Mantles. That was 2.5 years ago. Anyone who listened avoided a lot of losses and made some nice gains. I don't know. Did they even go up that much? It depends when you bought too.
Well, I think the point is though, you don't fluctuate with the big losses. You at least
Yeah,
maintain.
it's not
You know what I
volatile.
mean? That's at least the
Yeah,
safest. You know what I mean? Like it's like telling somebody, "Hey, throw your money in S&P 500." Like it's the safest thing. Like if you're gonna do it and you're not doing it from a collector's, because I think a lot of people who jumped in the hobby were kind of guided into this with this mindset of flipper profit, where it's like they didn't come in here as collectors. If you're a collector, it's different. You know what I
right.
mean? If
Like
you want to
collector,
make
like who
money,
cares about
shit like
prices
the
then
S&P,
at
it's
that
like
point?
buy your Brady rookies, buy your, buy your safe. Uh, if you are going to treat it like an investment, which I'm not telling people to do, but if you're in that mindset,
Yeah.
you're not looking to collect, yeah, you buy your safe things. I think that's what Cage is probably alluding to, where it's like you can avoid the ups and downs of market crashes by just
Yeah,
staying
exactly.
true.
Yeah, it's like that was low volatility. So, and that's what I was looking at. And like it's stuff like this. This is what I'm gonna be buying. It's like a $20 Tom Brady card. I don't
Yeah.
know if you could see it. It's Signal Callers.
You got it
Or
upside down, bro.
yeah, now can you see it?
Yeah. Is that score?
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, it's 2018 and it's PSA 10. And I didn't even get it graded. I bought it online with sales tax and all that, shipped to my house, $22. Now, if I
Can't
went to
beat
a
that.
show,
Can't beat
it'd
that.
be a little cheaper,
Mhm.
but still,
Yeah, but it's like
20,
that's a safe place to just, dude, I'm gonna take $20 and put, let's like buying a $20 scratch off.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like I'm gonna buy a PSA 10 Tom Brady and I'll hold on to it. And if worse come to worse, I like the card. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I think but like the guys that are throwing thousands of dollars at like risky players, that's what's crazy. Like I'm gonna put thousands of dollars into a prospect quarterback that's within 5 years of his career. It's like that's, I mean, unless you flip it real fast, but somebody's going to be holding that bag at some point.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It's just like, was that Desmond Ritter?
Oh, bro.
Dude, like, what the hell is. I don't know why Jeff Wilson does the things that he does. Like, did you watch SCR last week with Reckoning?
I watched Reckoning, yeah. I
Okay.
didn't watch the full
So
episode. I knew
Reckoning
Cole
went
was
off on
watching the
them.
Reckoning portion.
He was cursing them out or like calling them out, saying like, "You're not covering Jeff Wilson and how he's a Freemason." And I'm like, "What?"
Oh yeah, I saw that part. And
That was,
he was actually clapping back at SCR saying like, you guys shit all over Jeff Wilson, but you're also gaining from Jeff Wilson. Like you're getting clicks and certain notoriety because now, rightfully or unrightfully, however you want to think of it, like I think a lot of their criticisms are just, but like Reckoning was like getting on them saying you guys are benefiting from Jeff because of your pushback on him, which I don't think Sports Car Radio is wrong, but he did make somewhat of a valid point where it's like
and then what they said.
a lot of the pushback, um, a lot of the pushback culture in this card community has been a benefit, and they've grown. Like channels like you, do I think you get shadow banned? Yes, but do I also think you've grown because of your pushback to a lot of the mainstream of the hobby? Absolutely. Same with like Dan.
So what was quite interesting, the algo pushed me like crazy 2022,
Hmm.
2021. And then I started getting like I can't prove this, okay? I started getting into Epstein, I started getting into all that stuff. And then Bill Gates had you on, some of the lives.
Hmm.
And I started to notice that's when some of the shadow banning may have happened. Can't prove it, but I was also
Probably, probably a lot of that has to do with like I'm sure like because these big tech like being YouTube, like I'm sure certain TTS things were triggered where it's like you're off the algorithm now. Maybe
like
talking about
it's
stuff
still
like
there. It's still promoted, but not as much.
that. Hmm.
Yeah, I see like YouTube still recommends my videos, but it's not as what it used to be. It used to be like really good.
Yeah.
And then because like I like pissed off so many people. And I know I
Well,
used to go at it with Cage, and now Cage is,
I gotta be
coming to.
honest, there was a lot of times, like is he still in the chat? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's in this chat. Yeah,
I actually messaged him. I can't remember. I think he posted a story about something. I actually messaged him because
yeah,
there was a point in time where I was even critical, where I'm like, kind of seems like the sponsorships might keep you from saying things in full context. And I noticed some of the pushback he'd give you back in the day. And obviously, we're pretty good. We're pretty close at this point. So like, yeah, I have a biasy towards you. But dude, Cage has been on fire lately. I got to give the man
yeah,
props.
yeah, yeah. He's doing a good job.
And he's funny. Like he has a
Yeah.
KD. Oh, gonna back up with it. Come on. There's 31 seconds left, and I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, yeah. You
I
watch the game. It's all
they got
good.
they're
I'll read
playing the
some
Mavs.
comments
They're up
while.
2.
No, the fact that Cage is now talking about Freemason stuff, like he's come a long way
Go back
compared
to that
to.
last comment by Cage if you can. I want to see what he said about the
Yeah.
LeBron Chrome. It's tough. People saw
People,
LeBron Chrome PSA 10 go for like 1K to 40K in a year. They thought they could repeat that with modern stuff. It's not repeatable. And that card is down 90% from the high. Yeah, dude. And I think, honestly, I'm glad Cage said that because I think that's what I can't remember what he posted, but when I messaged him, I did say something, and I was like, that was one of the examples where I was like, yeah, a certain person was telling people to go buy Zion Prism 10s and LeBron Chrome PSA 10s, and it's like, if anybody knew cards, there's like the pop counts on stuff like that are insane, especially the Zion stuff. Like LeBron, I
yeah,
get it, like he's a proven guy, but the card
yeah.
is not that rare.
Hmm.
And like, despite of how good of a player LeBron is, there's a lot of people that don't like him.
Yeah, that's what I was
That's
thinking.
that's not as like you're really rare LeBron stuff, yes, but like an overprinted copy of a rookie card of LeBron, that's not that's not a safe place to place your money. And the individual who's telling people to do this, who supposedly has been in the hobby, but here he's been paid by Zero Cool and Fanatics, so he's just out here shilling. Like that guy should know better to tell everybody to just sink all thousands of dollars in the Zion PSA 10 prisms and LeBron Chromes because Cage is right. That card's down like 90%. It's insane.
Let me ask you this, unbiased, right? Take our political bias out.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that LeBron, like what Donald Trump is to politics, LeBron James is to sports in the
How do
terms
you
of like a polarization?
like the love hate thing? Like he's just,
Yeah. Like either people love him or people hate him.
I think that's a fair comparison. Definitely.
So it's like, I'm
I
just
definitely
thinking, okay, like if someone's collecting, okay, buy it whatever price. But I like speculating in things. I trade every day in markets, option markets.
mm-hmm.
So like if I were to invest, like would I invest? I used to talk about speculating in LeBron and Trump, and I want to revisit that topic.
Mm-hmm.
Is it worth investing in them? Or like Trump train, maybe it's too late for that because look, over time he could be like Ronald Reagan where people have nostalgia, but like no one really wants to buy Ronald Reagan items as much.
I think if you're smart, not to cut you off, but I think if you're
Yeah.
smart, like if you have Trump stuff, this is the time to sell.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking
Like
like should
When LeBron passed Kareem, that was the time to sell your LeBron stuff.
and I'm
Like
just
there's certain
thinking
because of this polarization that you're talking about. Like it's not this blind love. We're not talking about Jordan, where it's just going to continuously go up. Like you have enough hate for a guy like Trump and a guy for LeBron, where it's like you got to pick your spots in their markets. I think.
yeah,
Anyway,
it's
go ahead. I
like
didn't mean to cut you off.
yeah, so like I'm just looking at this Funko Pop. Is it time to sell this Funko Pop? Because I may just want it in my PC, but I'm just thinking, hey, look, if I'm right about the deep state trying to crash the economy under him because they try to kill him. I think they try to kill him. We can't prove who tried to kill him, but the fingerprints sure seem to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this the best that he's going to be now? Like his prime, the second time, survived getting shot. He pulled it off, he's not going to go to jail. I'm thinking this is, if you want to maximize profits, is this the time to sell before the rug pull comes?
There is a potential with Trump, like there's a potential for LeBron long
Yeah.
term. I'm not going to say there's not, but if you want the safe money and you want to play it, now's the time to sell, in my opinion. He's
Yeah.
riding high, momentum's in his favor. Like this next 4 years, like we said, if certain things happen, like if the
Yeah.
market crashes or something, that they'll put on him, where
Yeah.
it's going to be part of his legacy, where he's not going to be as beloved. Um,
Yeah.
I think LeBron has that same potential. Now we can go really down some weird rabbit holes with that, but like, let's just say allegedly there's rumors of him being on some PEDs. Like he could have a Barry Bonds type of
But like,
long term. Like, do I think he's not going to be in the Hall of Fame? No, but I definitely think there's going to be a potential narrative on someone like LeBron. It's like, hey, he was on allegedly on PEDs, and we look at him differently. Or
it was
we
like
go down the
Chow
rabbit
Sonnen.
hole, his connections with Diddy. And maybe some weird stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like,
long
is
term,
is
maybe
there?
people don't love him because of certain things that I'm just saying. I'm not,
Yeah. I know. We're just like talking about
speculating.
it,
Speculating.
speculating. Yeah, no, there's no facts per se,
Right.
but we're just trying to, think ahead. And the thing is, I always thought that people got to. Oh, Katie, you do something.
Well, Phoenix might win. It's
Oh, no.
114 to 113 with .8 seconds left. But if Dallas has a timeout, so they're going to inbound from midcourt, they'll at least get a shot off. So they're up one. They should have hit both free throws, but they only hit one.
Brendan Ryan says white party problems.
Yeah, yeah, you ain't kidding, bro.
I had to think about it. Are you talking about the? Never mind. Are you talking about Diddy parties?
Well, yeah, the diddler.
I thought he was talking about something else, but never mind.
He could
But
be. He could
yeah,
be. Oh,
but
I think I know what you're talking about.
yeah, I'm like, well, I don't
Yeah,
want to get into
yeah, we
that.
won't go there.
Oh man, oh God, Patches. LeBron is a big guy. 25 bottles of That's something ABs
That's
would
why they had
say.
so much of that baby oil stock, man. They had a whole bunch for old Brawny Braun.
Yeah.
That's funny, dude. Oh, that's good.
So I'm just thinking, yeah, like Chow Sonnen, we've talked about this.
Mhm.
Like, why the hell did LeBron not sue the crap out of him?
That's what
I
makes
would have
me.
sued the crap out of
Oh,
him
for
to
sure.
make him shut up.
Yep.
And he works for ESPN, and people say he's a coach killer. Well, he could have got him kicked off of ESPN.
Oh, big time. Dude.
If that was a false allegation. Like, so I don't know why LeBron didn't take action on him, because you have all the money in the world, and people are going to speculate, like,
yeah,
or it could have been.
That should be that to me is like a big thing where it's like for him to go out on a big podcast and talk about me and LeBron have the same drug dealer. Like, dude, that's defamation. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's defamation if that's a false statement.
Or even addressed it. Tells me it's like, man, there's some smoke there.
I'd be like, I'm going to get my lawyer to go to him.
Enough to get me to look and think,
yeah.
Unless
like maybe his trainer, or like what could have happened is his trainer may have given him stuff and he didn't realize it was PEDs. But that, you have to be dumb to do that. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Oh man.
I'm just getting back into the chat. I had to finish
the chat is like nuts, man.
Oh, dude,
this is like, now we got to get John Reckoning calling in, and oh God.
Dude, everybody, Reckoning. I saw that he was talking to Sports Card Radio last night when you told me to watch his little portion when he called in.
Yeah.
I wish he would have gotten hobby president, dude. Mangini seems legit. I'm not against. Didn't Mangini win hobby president or something?
I think he did. I think he did.
Nothing against Mangini. He's cool. But dude, John being president, he said he would have rejected it anyway. But bro, just to listen to, I would have loved to hear John's speech, just like an inauguration speech. Could you imagine Reckoning give like a speech to the hobby about him being voted president? Like that would probably be one of the greatest moments in hobby history would be John Reckoning's inauguration of president of the hobby speech.
Splenda's trying to lead a hobby coup.
How so? Bob, you joined. Stop it.
So speaking of like speeches, I saw this on Twitter last night. I had to send this to you. People were petitioning Alex Jones to be the press secretary
Press
under
secretary?
Trump.
Oh, dude, that would be glorious.
Dude, that would be awesome.
That would be glorious. Dude, there's so much potential shakeup with this. If Trump were to do this right, which he won't,
Yeah.
he should troll the entire establishment of DC with this. Like if he could, I would do it.
I mean, InfoWars may be off air next week.
All the outcasts, all the people that were told you're a bad person, you're going to be censored, we're going to drug you through the DOJ nonsense. All the people that were demonized by the machine, bring them in. It'd be the ultimate, like, just throw a wrench into the machine. That would be glorious. I think that's what the real Trump in 2016 represented was, we just want to break this machine because we hate it. I think that's what he really represents. Now, this cycle, I don't think that's the same Trump. We've talked about it.
Oh, no, yeah. And that's why I think the trap now is crashing the banks. I know I've said it like 10 times in this stream. And I know other videos saying, oh, there's no crash yet. You're nuts and this and that. I'm like, okay, fine. But yeah. Anyways, oh yeah, InfoWars may be off air next week. So
yeah, dude, I saw that. You're gonna be bumming.
No, he's still gonna be on air. There's still gonna be a way to get it. Yeah, then that would be a void. 2 hours of my day. Oh, what the hell am I gonna do?
Yeah,
11 a.m. to 12. Then I'd go lunch, play ping pong, and then I'm back 1 to 2, 1 to 3.
That's funny.
And then then trading stuff in the morning. So, dude, I think I'm gonna go through withdrawal. Oh man,
that's great.
Oh man. Oh, dude! Breaking news.
There's certain people I like to listen to that are banned where it's just like, I'm cutting grass for the next hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's like, let me listen to this. Let me hear these guys where it's like, if they got canceled completely, and Alex is one of them, where it's like, man, if I don't have just a little bit, if I can't wet my beak, it's like, that sucks. I just want to hear the crazy.
So yeah, breaking news, by the way. President Trump is going to pardon the sports card rapist.
Oh, dude. That's funny.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
But there's a lot of people that need pardoned in all seriousness, though.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Assange get pardoned.
Yeah. Isn't Assange pardoned? Or no, he's not, right?
No, I don't think so. Not yet. I'd like to see it happen.
Yeah, I mean, like...
Is Snowden the other one? Edward Snowden?
Yeah. Weren't there, like, some crazy WikiLeaks stuff, like, 8 years ago? Like, John Podesta and, like, kids
You're asking like you don't know, bro.
Yeah, I'm like, I know. I'm trying to go back because it was so crazy.
Wasn't there some crazy
Wait, 20, yeah, this is live. Someone says, is this live? Yes, this is live.
Yeah.
So, like, no, I remember seeing something like the WikiLeaks. It sounded insane. Where you had, John Podesta and a few Democrats saying, yeah, we had the kids in the hot tub. I'm like, what? What?
Well, yeah, we can't. I don't know. I'm not going to. It's your channel. So
yeah, I know. I mean,
but there's some deep shit you can kind of look at.
Some pizza related.
I was just going to say, like, we'll just say pizza and,
pizza. They were speaking in code pizza pasta.
Yeah.
So I was in DC This is like for my buddy's wedding. The day before, he drove me to that pizza ping pong place.
The pizzeria?
The pizzeria. We didn't yeah, we didn't go inside, but we just saw it
Mm,
from the outside.
yeah, I wouldn't give him my business just on the
Nah,
same side.
I would not either. Sounds like a Kentucky man dream. Oh boy, I don't want to get sued, man. I know John Reckoning has some very strong
We'll leave,
beliefs on that,
yeah,
but I'm a little
we'll leave that to John.
yeah. I have no comment on a guy in
Give me 1
Kentucky.
second. I'll be right
Yeah.
back. This is a celebration. I need a beer.
Oh man, let's read some comments. For folks who haven't watched your videos, give a 60-second recap on what a reverse repo is, please. I think I'm just going to talk about it in a video tomorrow. And I don't get too much into it on this channel because it's a sports card channel, but I do believe it's important.
Bro, have you been buying anything?
What do you mean buying what?
Like any cards or anything? You just dab
Yeah,
a
I
little
mean,
bit?
like what I'm looking for when I have the time, like I said, like I'm targeting like Brady PSA 10s, looking for weak auctions. I'm gonna look at that, and as long as the auctions don't end in the nighttime, if they end in the afternoon, I
That's
think
the time. Yep.
that's
Those
the
are the ones
time. Like,
I'm
don't
targeting.
buy it when like these consigners are like Probstein. Don't buy from Probstein at 7 o'clock in the night when you could find the card
I
from
wouldn't buy
someone
those
else.
auctions at all. I'm not
I
even
used to
that
buy from
interested in it.
Probstein a
I
lot.
followed enough. I followed enough eBay auctions linked to Probstein where I'm like, dude, I ain't touching those. I don't care who it offends. I ain't touching those. I'd
Yeah,
never pay for. I'm not even pay. I'm just saying, like, if I bought something, I would pay for it. I wouldn't even bid on a Probstein auction. Don't care. Not doing it. That
yeah,
car will get relisted. You know what I mean? Like, I've watched enough KD flawless stuff go on his auctions where it's like it sells for like $2,200, and then that card's relisted within the week 3 or 4 times. I think you did a video on it one time. That was just
I did
one.
about China, about these Chinese companies. Like I used to get someone from overseas saying you got to cover this person in China. I'm like, okay, because I don't buy cars from China. Like,
Oh
why
no,
would I do
oh
that?
yeah,
Because I live in the U.S. and I don't need. If you're in Australia, I get it. If you're in like that part of the world, Singapore
oh
or
yeah.
Southeast
Here,
Asia, buy from China. That's fine. But if you're here in the U.S., I'm like, why would you buy overseas? I have some
dude, I won't even
people.
buy from Canada. I won't even buy from Canada. If I see an auction from Canada,
Yeah.
hard pass.
I mean, like, I don't want to even sell to people in Canada because there's just, shipping issues. What if they put a claim in because it's slow shipping? But now eBay allows international shipping, which is a little easier. And then now Canadians do have, I think Slab Sharks is a consigner. So they do what Probstein does, basically,
Hmm.
consign items. So they could buy from them rather than, people like me who probably won't sell to them. Unfortunately. You know what's
I've been
so weird
buying
though?
shit. I've
What?
been buying some shit.
What you buying? You have them?
Yeah, yeah. I've been doing the same thing. I actually sold a lot of stuff. I think I told you and Dan in our group. I
Yeah.
sold a bunch of stuff. It was the quickest, like, well, I'm not going to talk money, but it was the quickest
Yeah.
money. So I freed up some cash because I was
Oh,
like,
you're a market manipulator like who used to call out? You flipping?
well, I went through my PC and I'm like, some of
Yeah.
these cards are getting stale, and I just rather would have the cash. And I know
Yeah.
they're liquid cards, so I sold them. Sold a couple mellows, nice mellows. I sold a couple of bronze.
Yeah.
Um, I sold a kaboom that I had of KD. So
Yeah.
I was like, I'd rather just target this like stuff that's like honestly under like $300 that I can go after. And I've been picking up a bunch of gold Tomlinsons, Topps Pristine Gold, Tomlinson PSA 8 at a
Yeah.
99, '08 Topps Chrome Gold, Tomlinson. Topps Finest Gold. Tomlinson, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
and they're like under $100. So it's like
Yeah.
I'll throw that chunk of money in my savings and just let it sit, and I'll just go
Right.
buy some fun stuff. Like this was a $40 purchase. I got graded, came back a 9. A Tomlinson Upper Deck Sweet Spot, which is I love these cards. They're so
Right.
unique because at the time you didn't see stuff like this.
Right.
It's like 05, 04,
Hmm.
05's and the other one. A PSA 10 Palomalu Finest Rookie.
That's a nice card.
Dude, it's just you don't see a lot of his stuff. He was a great player, and
No, it's
I'm in the
great.
Pittsburgh area, so like the Steelers.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
Dude, I got this last week in the Washington show I was at. A first
Yeah.
edition BGS 9 Mellow Tops, the first edition, or
Yeah.
the first edition. So it's like, dude, I think I paid $20 for it. Like
For a mellow, that's a rookie.
First edition rookie tops, yeah, in a BGS 9 already graded. Dude, that's how much grading would cost. So I was like, why? That's a layup. Like I'd rather just dabble in stuff that's fun. Like
That's
if I'm going to
true.
put big money into something, I just don't think that's the likely. I just don't think right now is the time for me to do that. So I sold some bigger stuff I had.
Yeah.
I'll just buy the cheap stuff that's like I know I'm going to want the Tomlinson gold runs. Like I want his pristine golds, I want his finest golds, his top chromes golds. Like I know I want that stuff. So it's like if I can get them for under $100 and profit off of stuff that I'm like just getting kind of tired of looking at, it's stale. That's all day,
Yeah.
all day. Now I won't sell my flawless KD stuff. That's I'm keeping that.
Do you buy usually at shows, or do you buy online, or you do everything?
What I like to do is I like to buy on Instagram. And here's the thing,
I don't do
I'm
that.
picky about what I want. Like I have certain eBay saved searches.
Yeah.
We were just talking about like if there's a card that I want that's on Probstein, like I ain't
Yeah.
buying. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not buying. Like every once in a while, I'll get on PWCC. Every once in a while, but for the most part, I like to go in person at shows, and I like to do it on Instagram. That's how I like to do it.
Do you mingle with singles on Instagram? Because that's what Bob Boozle does.
Yeah, I mingle with the singles. I like single cards. I'm not doing breaks. I'm not doing wax. Singles as in women, though? No. No. No.
You see that some girls are becoming abstinent because of the recent
Good.
election?
Good. I'm glad. I'm seeing a lot of people are buying guns and becoming abstinent. God bless America, baby. We're already healing. This is what we want, bro.
Make
I want
America
babies.
great again.
Get married and have babies. Do it that way. I'm glad. I hope they ban certain things on the internet. I hope we go back to some morality. That would be awesome. But yeah,
I don't think Bob Boozle is into morality. He says,
sorry,
I didn't say I slap bellies with these women. Okay, he just mingles. But then didn't he say earlier on that he, back in the day, that used to, what did he say about, what did he say earlier?
I don't slap bellies. I just mingle.
He said he used to whip it out at work, and now he can't whip it out because of HR rules. I'm like, okay, bro, you do you.
Bob's a G, bro.
He needs to do a video. You need to come on a live or call in.
Yeah, bro. That's what you should do is get Bob and Patches. You should do a live with Cage. I don't know if he's still in the chat.
Yeah, I should get him on again.
Get him on a live sometime, dude. That would be fun. I think like this version of Cage and you, I think would have like a fun, super fun
it would be good
conversation.
I've already done.
It'd be good to hear his opinions on a lot of things in today's market and stuff.
So Patches says just got a weekend gig at a free education camp. Not sure what type. Bro, dude, you need to come on alive. I know you suggested to us earlier.
Oh, dude. Patches would be great.
Patches would be good. Oh man, I just try to motivate the team at work, make them aspire to bigger things. Thanks. Okay,
I got the joke there, bro. That was good.
dude. Man. Oh yeah, then you gotta get John Reckoning and all of that.
He won't do he'll only call in.
Yeah, you only call in.
Says he
I
doesn't
don't
have
even have his
internet.
number.
Say he doesn't have internet. Yeah, dude, I wish there was a way I could contact with him. Like, I'm surprised he doesn't have an Instagram or something
Yeah, he says he doesn't
where it's
do
like, "Hey,
that.
I can at least DM you." You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly. Or like email or a number. I need to get his number next time. But
I don't know. He's above all us, dude. We're just peasants to John.
yeah,
We're not worthy.
he says he does not want friends.
No, he'll tell you he's better than everything. I think he does like us. You know what I mean? Like he talks shit on everybody. That's what he says. But I think he definitely likes us.
Yeah, he said he liked me the other day, but then he still craps on
I
us.
think that's just him, and I
Yeah,
think
that's
that's
just him.
good.
Yeah, that's his shtick.
Dude. My best friends are the ones that shit on me.
Yeah.
Like my closest friends
Yeah.
make fun of me for the shit I can't change or control, and that's
Yeah.
real. That's genuine love. That's real love there, man.
Last night, Reckoning claimed all women want him, but he never shows his face. I have actually seen his face on his old channel, American Scheme.
Hmm.
I don't know if he still has videos, but I've seen
Well,
him.
he was talking about being at a thrift store and how these women kept saying how they like him, they like him. That's enough proof for me. I trust him.
Yeah.
He's a
He says
stud.
he's gotten his I forget the language he used, that he's got his dick sucked a lot or he's fucked a lot. I don't know what he said yesterday on their stream. I'm like, okay.
I'm taking his word for it.
Yeah, I believe him. One video was quite interesting of him. It was talking about me, or I was in the video title, but then he went into a rant about Michael Jackson and then how one of his family members went to see a prostitute and also get drugs. Something like that.
Oh, you mean one of the Jacksons or his biological family?
No,
You
no,
know,
like his
Smokey
biological
Robinson and
family.
yeah, those are his biological
Yeah,
parents.
yeah. So yeah, that was an interesting video. And I'm like, interesting. Rusty says we need sports card rapists to sprinkle in some wellness to the chat. We should like call him at his work. Be like,
No,
yo,
I'm not doing that.
I'm not gonna do that. Not
I
now. I'll
ain't
be
doing
like,
that, man. I don't want to
yo.
mess with a man's livelihood. He's got kids, bro. I don't want to do all that. It would be funny though.
I know you used to do lives with him, and
Well,
I
he
just don't.
invited me on once.
Yeah, once. Yeah, he tried to get me on with SCR, and they weren't gonna do a live with him, so then he didn't want to get on.
Well,
And then you went on with Dan, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
It was weird. Like, and I got along with him. We talked. We talked quite a bit, and
yeah,
like I wish him goodwill. Like I don't hate the guy. Like I can definitely say
right.
like, yeah, I don't agree with what you did, but I don't think he's some manipulative, nefarious, evil doer in the hobby. Like certain people, in my opinion, are way worse. What he did was wrong for sure.
It
It
wasn't
was
like the
weird when he had me
worst.
on. It was like to start off the conversation, he just wanted to be like, I want to let everybody know I don't agree with like 90% of what Steve thinks. And I was sitting there thinking, like, for us talking so much, like that's a weird way to kind of start
Yeah,
conversation where it's like I disavow, like I'm having you on, but I disavow everything you think basically. And that's where I was like, I was cool. And like I didn't like, but I did think in my head, like, what the fuck is that? Like, you wanted to have me on, but as soon as before I even like open up, you're just like, I just want to say I don't agree with like 90% of what Steve thinks. I'm like, geez, that's kind of harsh, man. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He was bizarre.
When he first
It,
started, I think he was legit. And then I don't know. I don't know if the clout maybe got to him or the sponsorships, but
yeah, that's what happens to
shame. I
everyone.
do wish him well. Like I do, I really do. Genuinely, I wish him well.
Problem with Sports Reckoning is that he deletes all his best videos, like the Great Urinator Golden Shower Hour video.
He did. He mass scrubbed his channel.
Did he?
Well,
Oh,
no, this was a while ago, and then I think he re-uploaded stuff or something.
yeah,
There was a
he
long
does
time
that.
ago where it's like I went on his channel and it was like scrubbed. He only had like 3 videos, then they all came back.
Yeah, I don't know. So, yeah. What?
B Ryan. That's funny. And no. No.
I remember that Sports Reckoning video where he says the rape. I don't know. I have to watch that video again. I would die laughing. But he has a picture of sports card therapist, and he says the rapist or something. I forget. I have to go back to it. He
Oh
did
my
such a good
god.
job with that. I'm not doing a good job explaining it. I'm gonna have to rewatch some of his videos.
Bob just brought that might have been the funniest. I think Bob got it.
Oh
That
my
was the
god!
funniest. Dude, his opening of that, the opening of that, where he was, I can't remember which one he was saying,
Oh my
but when he says that, obviously, so and so, I can't remember which one, obviously they're homosexual. I just, dude, I lost it. I absolutely lost it. That was probably the funniest video he ever did. That was like a pure 30 minutes of just, I had to hold my bladder from pissing myself. It was so funny. When he between two butt cheeks. Dude, that was great. That was great.
Oh my god! Oh.
He did a good video on me one time. It was the Brittany
About
Mahomes.
Brittany Mahomes, yeah.
Brittany Mahomes. He was like, Steve's lying. He's like, if he was around Brittany Mahomes, he'd think she's hot and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, yeah, like, because I called her a PSA 6, I think.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, well, and I'll be honest, I still stand by that. You take the plastic surgery and the makeup away, she's a
She
PSA
has
6.
plastic surgery?
Bro, look at her. Those lips aren't real. Those tits aren't
Not
real. She's got all kinds of plastic surgery, dude. She's a PSA 6. And I'd still debate John on that. And I think, in fact, when he called in, we brought that up.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, in the real grand scheme of world, like if you put her in my small little area, if she shows up at my local bar, yeah, everybody's going to be like turning their heads. But like in the grand scheme of the world, she's a PSA 6, dude. She's got plastic surgery and she literally coats on the most makeup. She's a PSA 6. But he did that video on me. That maybe that's
That was funny. And you went to the bathroom.
yeah, I went to the bathroom and he says, "What's he doing? Touching his dick?" And blah, blah, blah. It's like I took a piss, bro.
Oh man. Reckoning breaks would destroy the you down was dude, that would be crazy.
That would be the best.
That would be amazing.
That would be awesome. Bro, if we could get a daily, like, I wish people were like not sensitive and dumb, where
Yeah.
they could like we could get John on a live every day. And I think if people were to just like not take
Listen,
things like not
yeah.
be hypersensitive, John could be so big in this hobby. Because I just think when he gets into rant mode, he's
Yeah.
naturally so funny. Whether it's intentional or unintentional, he is easily the most entertaining person I've ever heard in this hobby.
Yeah.
Easily. Like, it's not even close. Like, Sports Card Radio has a huge following. They do a great show.
Yeah. Right.
There's certain people who have a great following. They have good shows and certain content. They're not like John. If he really wanted to, he would be easily the biggest show in this hobby. If he were to just do live streams and stuff, it would be amazing. It would be amazing. I would be honored to call in to John's show just to hear him like cuss me out about Brittany Mahomes and LaDainian Tomlinson. Like, I would be honored. That would be glorious.
The thing is that when he called yesterday, I thought he'd be talking about, like, okay. He did talk about Mangini, but then he brought up Candace Owens out of nowhere. I'm like, what? Candace Owens and Smoke, or what's her name? Janet Jackson. I'm like, what?
Oh, dude, he got pissed. He was like, Candace is awesome because he like put Kamala on blast because of her family history, apparently, a lot of this stuff. But then he was like, but she's going to pay the wrath because she brought up Janet Jackson, dude. And that's a lie, dude. He's hilarious, bro.
Dude.
Like, he'll go on these rants where it's like, I follow you. That makes some sense. And then he just veers, like he takes the steering wheel and he goes, and he just goes straight left out into the left field. He like goes over the berm lane. He's driving out in the field by himself. It's like, I followed you up to a certain point, and then he just goes off the rails, bro. I mean, I love that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, it's good to see people that aren't scared of speaking their mind, because a lot of people.
That's the best.
Yeah, they message me saying like, man, I really like your work. It's like, just imagine if more people were just outspoken. Now, I don't say it like John Reckoning, but
dude, we talk pretty much daily, so you know, how I feel. I would love to just say what I think at all times. I mean, granted, this is your channel. Like, I don't want to get you in any type of shit. Like, even if I had a channel, I wouldn't feel comfortable just saying everything I thought at all times. But like, dude, when we talk, like, it's like barbershop talk. It's like, dude, we just say it. It's funny. We laugh. Like, I wish we could get back to that where it's like, dude, like, I'm not offended. Take your shots at me. Like, it's funny. Like, if you can't laugh at yourself. And that's what John's great at, where it's like, he really does not give a shit. And he'll even say, I like this person, and then shit on him for 20 minutes. It's wonderful. Like, that's refreshing.
That's what he does. Yeah. I'm like, at first I used to be like, who the hell is this guy? And then I started like watching and I just busted out laughing.
I was saying it when you first had me on and you'd be like, oh, Reckoning did a video on me, was shitting on me. I would come on and be like, dude, I want Reckoning to do a video on me, shitting on me for like a half-hour rant. I finally got it with Brittany Mahomes and I got it with LaDainian Tomlinson. And like, that made me happy. Like, I'm able to watch him and be like, this is great. Like, even when it's about me, like, this is great. Like, it's a guy just going super unfiltered, not giving a shit. It's like the rules don't apply and he's going to say whatever comes into his head. Like, that's refreshing. That is super refreshing in my opinion.
Exactly. Especially when they want to regulate social media. Like, I'd rather listen to him before all that stuff goes down.
And that's what, like, I feel like, not just me, I think in a general sense, that's what gets people to like someone like a John, where it's like, you've been so suppressed and censored where you know you're not allowed to say shit. When you hear that one guy screaming from the street corners, not giving a fuck, and just saying everything that comes to his head, you're like, I might not agree, but go off, bro. Like, I want to hear, like, let it happen, because it's like, you don't get to hear that. Like, I don't know. There's something where it's like authenticity. There's a reason, like, maybe that's a bad comparison. Let's just say that with the general mainstream, because I think Joe Rogan could go way deeper. But, like, Joe Rogan versus the mainstream, like, he would be a version of authentic. There's a reason he gets so many views, because people are just like, we don't hear this long format conversation. where we at least feel like this is authentic and real. Like people
Yeah.
are drawn towards truth. I think Joe could go deeper than he does, and I do
But
think
then
there's
he'll
certain
be killed if he
limitations he
does.
has. But compared to the mainstream narrative, Joe is like authentic. Do you know what I mean?
So, like, I was seeing some people's stories on Facebook and all that, and they were complaining about, well, it's unfortunate that all these people, listen to Joe Rogan. And I'm thinking to myself, he doesn't even go far enough.
Right, right. That's what I
So,
mean. Like in
yeah, exactly
retrospect,
what you're saying. And I'm like, I don't get it. Like, isn't it about the marketplace of ideas?
when Rogan would have, I agree with you. When Rogan would have these guys on and he would debate 9/11 with them, that
Yeah.
was peak Rogan. And then he got
I don't
so
remember that.
big. Then he got so big where it was like you could see he was like tempering that type of conversation.
So,
Where he
like,
would,
you're talking about, like, Building 7 stuff about
yeah,
9/11?
dude, he had this one. Dude, this was years ago. This was before Spotify. This was. I don't want to say it was before YouTube. It was definitely on YouTube, but it was before he was like this household name when he was still on YouTube. But he had this guy on, and I can't remember who it was, but they were talking about 9/11, and that guy was saying like it's dangerous that you talk about these conspiracies about 9/11. And he's like, "Well, hold on." He's like, and he brought up the video of the buildings collapsing. He's like, "This looks like a demolition. Like this looks like a demolition."
Yeah.
And he's just having this this free conversation where he's like, "You believe this narrative, I might not believe that narrative, and this is why." And they just had this conversation. Now I don't know with Spotify, that might have been one of the podcasts that got scrubbed because there's certain
Yeah.
ones that he scrubbed when he went over to Spotify.
It's a publicly traded company, so, there's rules.
Mhm.
So,
But it
I'm
was
just
like, dude, when I first watched that, it was like refreshing. When I heard TinFoil debate Jack Dorsey from Twitter when he owned it, and that woman,
the Indian lady,
yeah, her,
lawyer,
yeah, I can't remember her
not
name.
vagina.
I can't remember.
Alex Jones always calls her vagina goat or
Vagina.
something.
But when Jack Dorsey and Vagina was on with TinFoil, that was like, holy shit! Like you didn't get that in the news, you didn't get that in mainstream media, where it was like, you own this conglomerate, and I'm going to push back on you and debate you, and expose why you're biased, and you censor only certain people for certain reasons because of their beliefs or their ideology. Like that was peak Rogan. And like now it's still good, but it's like even I would agree. I don't think he pressed Trump enough. Did you happen to watch Rogan with Trump?
No, I just saw maybe some highlights.
He should have like pressed Trump on more. Like I wasn't that over. Like it was cool that he had Trump on, but I wasn't impressed with that interview he had with Trump. I really wasn't.
So here's the tinfoil hat thing of that interview. Now this is gonna sound crazy. Remember, I sent you that pic of that interview of Rogan and Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Rogan is not a tall dude, right?
Yeah, he's short.
He's short. And then if you looked at how they were sitting, they were like on the same length, like height length, it looked like.
Mm-hmm.
So then the theories were like, a body double being used.
Mm-hmm.
I know it sounds insane. It could just be that, hey, Rogan has something to make him look taller.
Yeah.
During the podcast.
He probably has a booster seat. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I think
the
that's what it was.
The likelihood of him having a booster seat is probably more reasonable than the body double.
Yeah.
But I do believe in body doubles. Like I'm not.
I mean, Biden. Remember Biden's body double like 2 months ago?
Yeah.
When he had that medical thing.
Yeah, I definitely think that's real. Hillary had one too.
Yeah, they all do. Trump has one. I mean, like, I remember. So I saw this crazy thing. Zelensky, right? The Ukraine leader. Mm-hmm. So I saw something on Polish television. I saw on Telegram, that app, someone sent a video where they showed a picture of one Zelensky, and then the TV forgot to block out the second Zelensky body double. So it's like, wait, who's the real Zelensky? They had the same clothing, they looked alike. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
There's slips, dude. There's slips. Now they'll go back and scrub that stuff and try to get it offline.
Yeah.
But like every once in a while, you see the truth. You see stuff like that pops up.
I mean, they're kind of trying to censor this. Biden bit some babies recently. Looks fresh as a daisy. These.
Why is that guy so? Why is he so fucking weird around kids?
So
that's listen. That's gross.
Yeah, exactly.
Use my language. That's fucking gross. It's fucking weird. I don't know, dude. Like when you see a grown man do that type of shit around kids, like I'm gonna tap into a little bit of reckoning where it's like that makes me feel a certain way. And I'm not a big feelings guy. I think feelings are kind of dumb. But like when I see that with kids, that makes me like that's a red flag, especially from a man. When you see a woman get that way with kids, that to me is far more natural. Where a woman will go up to a random baby and ooh, Gucci, Gucci, goo, and bite on their feet and do all that. That makes sense because they're women. But like a man who does that shit and holds on to kids, that's gross, dude. That's gross. Men don't do that shit. If it's your own kid, that's one thing. But that's gross. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
So I'm just thinking, like, he had brain surgery, right? 30 years ago, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, they just looked the other way because he had brain surgery. So it's like, oh, he's like the political version of Antonio Brown. He can't control himself. I don't know.
I'd say a
but
different
then why are you running for president?
I'd say a different word that begins with P.
Yeah, exactly.
He just can't control himself around these kids. Where it's like, if I was a parent and I saw him like when you watch these photo ops, the shit he does with kids, it's fucking gross, dude. It's disgusting. It's like, the fuck are your hands? All these kids' hair and shit. It's gross.
It's like,
and like I don't blame dementia on that because we all know he's got dementia.
Yeah,
the guy's mashed potato brains. So it's like, I don't blame that shit. Like there's something wrong with you. I've been around people with dementia. They're not just touching kids and grabbing their hair and caressing them and butt eating their feet and stuff. That's weird. That's something different.
So you know what I find?
Oh, go ahead.
What I find hilarious the past few years, people crapped on Trump because of certain accusations. I don't think they had enough proof for that. And then there was proof of Biden sniffing kids, touching kids inappropriately, and they say nothing about it. Like you see their Twitter, I'm like, wait, where's the consistency?
Well, there's no consistency, and there never will be. And I'm not trying to like cut you off or switch up, but like let's get off the realm of children. Let's just take it to like adult accusations. Like Trump is getting sued by that chick up in New York or something for these accusations. This woman went on CNN and said, I'll use it because of TT. Grape is sexy. And she's accusing Trump of this.
It's like
that woman's batshit crazy. But yet Biden has allegations. Biden has allegations that get brushed under the rug. So it's like there's a blatant double standard where it's like, yes, we can all agree. Like, you don't do that to women. You respect women. That's gross and disgusting. You don't put women in an uncomfortable position. But it's like, I think we can watch that woman on CNN talking about her grape situation and saying it's sexy. Like that woman's nuts. But like, we won't even address the Joe Biden allegations. It's like crazy. Kamala's husband has accusations against him.
He knocked up his teacher. He knocked up his daughter's teacher. I mean, that was covered underneath the rug. I'm like, wait, what? And then like RFK too.
I think it's
RFK, like everyth's covered up with RFK. I'm like, wait, okay, it's not only one side. I want to like look at both sides. Like RFK is like, he had his ex-wife. All these guys going after RFK or praising RFK, his ex-wife hung herself.
Mhm.
Now, did he kill her? Like over a decade ago, he had like 30 mistresses, which led to the hanging in air quotes. It's like, wait, what? And then this guy was arrested for cocaine. So he's like Hunter Biden.
He's basic. I was just gonna say, like, and like everybody can change.
Everyone can change, yeah.
Everyone can change. I mean, that's part of my worldview where it's like people can change.
Yeah.
But that doesn't, erase some of the facts of your history. Like, I've certainly changed in a lot of aspects. Doesn't change what I've done and the person I was before. Doesn't change.
That's true.
It's just the truth. And I agree. Like a lot of these people who twerk for RFK, it's like, I don't think you know enough about his past. Where it's like, yeah, I could admit he's changed, but I still need to look with an analytical view of this guy, and it's like take his past into account.
I went fossil hunting with Jeffrey Epstein. Didn't he say that? I went fossil hunting with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
So what was that? And it looks like Steve is. Oh, you're back.
Can you hear me? Did I freeze up?
Yeah, I think you did.
Oh, my bad. I'll make sure my.
Oh, as we were talking about fossil hunting with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, as soon as you bring up the E word.
E word. Oh yeah.
There's
Oh, maybe I should just say Theo Epstein.
There you go.
He went fossil hunting with Theo Epstein, formerly of the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, dude. I mean, again, do I think RFK says a lot of things I agree with? Yes. Do I think he has a past? Yes. I think two things can be true. Where I'm not just going to blindly twerk for somebody. I'd say the same thing about Trump. Say the same thing about Trump. Do I think he's the better candidate? Yes. Do I think he's got baggage? And probably, like, is he this Christian? Like, my affiliation, but like, do I think Trump is this righteous Christian? No.
Right.
I don't look at him as a Christian at all, to be honest with you. Do I think he's the better candidate? Yeah.
True.
Yeah, Grimm's right. Like the Kennedy family in general has got there's some weird stuff with that family.
It's like, what is that in Chappaquiddick? Remember Ted Kennedy killed someone?
Oh, yeah.
Like this family is like, what the hell is up with them?
Look at his brother. Look at John. I mean,
it's
John
like
JFK, like we all like remember him as this more like, dude, he was banging all these chicks behind his wife, like Marilyn Monroe. She was gonna blow the whistle on him and his brother, and like, I don't know, dude. Like, I'm not. The Kennedys got some weird. They got some weird skeletons in their closet for sure.
And like, I was listening, like, if RFK talks like that, did he talk like that because of like his cocaine use?
Dude, I don't know, but his sister sounds the same way. Have you ever heard his sister talk?
No.
She sounds like that too. It's weird.
It's like,
I can't remember her name.
I know Dr. Shiva was saying that like he may be talking like that because he eats a lot of you know what? A lot of women out, basically.
Could be. Well, the Kennedy men are not.
Yeah, they're hoes.
Yeah,
they're hoes.
They some hoes for sure. And Patches brings it up too. What they did to JFK's one sister was the lobotomy. You mean? Yeah.
What?
You never heard about that?
No. What happened?
Oh shit! I just know like Robert and John had a sister, and the parents gave her a lobotomy because of something. I don't know what was wrong with her, but they basically just gave her a lobotomy, and I think she was a vegetable. I can't remember the full story, but it was like when you hear about that, you're like,
what?
This is fucked up, dude. Like their family is fucked up.
So, like, what's up with these powerful families? Like, something's up with them. Like the Bidens, the Clintons, the Kennedys, and then you go to the Republicans, like with the Bushes.
Yeah,
Bushes. It's like, what's wrong with them?
I don't know. These
Like, do
legacy
they have some
families,
blackmail? They could
there's
just control
legacy.
the.
Well, a lot of these legacy families, like, dude, they're a part of these groups where, like, for instance, they talk about like the Bushes who are in like, which is it, Yale, the Skull and
Yeah,
Bones
yeah.
Society and
Skull and
stuff,
Bones.
or like the Bohemian Grove stuff. Like, dude, they're in, and like they pass it on to their kids.
This is some weird ass stuff. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's some weird stuff, dude.
And then if you talk to like normies about this, they think that you're psycho.
Yeah, because it's uncomfortable to hear this stuff. That all the people they twerk for and worship are actually like occult pieces of shit.
Yeah, because in the real world, if I can have an intelligent conversation, but if I get like into tinfoil hat stuff, then I'm looked at as a kook.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Well, you have to think 90% of the population's never heard this stuff because the news won't tell it to them. So when they hear it, they just automatically reject it. Imagine putting something
Exactly.
in your body that's foreign, you're going to regurgitate it. So think about with your brain. If somebody gives you a
Yeah,
thought experiment or an idea that's foreign to your brain, you're just going to you're going to reject it.
that's true. It's like if you talk to someone about building 7, they'll think that you're
Be honest with
batshit.
you, I would say probably 85% of the US populace doesn't even know what Tower 7 is.
Yeah, like I remember someone in the stream said like, "What's building 7?"
They have no clue. And it's like I can't, how do I want to say it? It's like I wish they would be more open-minded, but I can't sit there and like shit on somebody who's never heard any of this type of free thinking, deep rabbit hole shit. If they've never heard it and they hear it for the first time, I can't get mad where it's like they lose their shit. They have
I
no,
used to be like that. I
you
used
know
to
what
be
I
like
mean?
that,
It's
but
like
then
if
I've
somebody,
changed.
yeah, if somebody were to tell you 2 + 2 is 5, you would be like, your brain would start, what do you mean? You know what I mean? You'd freak out. You'd reject
Yeah,
the
it'd be
claim.
like,
I don't think that's a good comparison. That's probably not a good comp. But like when you hear something that doesn't correlate with your brain, something that's newly introduced to you that you've never thought about, I can understand why a lot of people are just like they'll fight tooth and nail.
so like that card porn thing. Like I kept on doing videos, and then I was looked at like some psychopath. Not psychopath, but just like, okay, this dude's weird. There's something wrong with this guy. Why does he do that? Why is he obsessed with card porn?
Mhm.
And then what happened a year later? He got busted for a scam.
Well, your
I don't know.
foundation comes from a point of like, you're not going to take an elite. Let's call him an elite in this hobby with
Yeah,
his branding, his following, the people he networked with. Like we could consider him like an elite. The way you look at things in society with these elites, you were like you smelled. You know, there was blood in the water, and you were a shark on that. You were like, all right, he's lining up with all the things I know in the macro society that there's corruption here. And I
no.
think a lot of people don't look at the macro that way. You do, I do. So it's like when you were popping off about, you know, card porn, I was in your corner like, yeah, yeah, you know what I mean? But like most people are hearing this stuff like, oh, he's fucking crazy. You know what I mean? He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I'm getting that sense right now where even like people who may have supported me in the past, when I'm talking about, this whole house of cards is going to come relatively soon. And a lot of people are thinking, no, it's not going to happen under Trump because Trump is, pro business in air quotes. And I'm getting that same vibe feeling that I got during card porn where I'm like on my own island and no one,
Mhm.
like, everyone thinks that I'm a wacko. So I don't know. This, and if that happens, then
Well, I think
yeah,
it's fair to be like somebody in my position. Like I'll definitely admit, like I think the better candidate won. Do I
yeah,
think there was an agenda behind this? Probably.
yeah.
But it's like I'm not going to be, and that's why like I don't place my faith in Trump, dude. Like I know better. Where it's like I'm not placing my faith in any institution, any person. Not doing it, man.
Right.
Like, can I have a certain viewpoint? And it's like, well, this makes sense to me, sure, but like, I know better than to place my faith into anything like that because like the rug could get pulled out from under me at any time.
Right.
Anytime.
It's
I
true.
do enjoy some of the liberal tears though. I'm not gonna lie. Like that shit's funny. Like it's pretty
So
entertaining.
I was seeing some of the clips and of them having meltdowns. I was seeing even one person, and I didn't vote. So people watching,
Right.
I gave my reasons why I didn't vote, but I was just watching some of these reactions, and even people in the hobby, like this one person. I'm not gonna bash, per sexuality or anything like this, but she's part of like the LGBT, all that stuff. And she was saying like, I'm scared for my type under this administration. And I'm thinking, wait, so Donald Trump is going to bring the same type of laws in Saudi Arabia to America? It's like, how are you scared? Okay, he may say, okay, the bathroom stuff, okay, that may be there may be some rules for that, but he's the most pro gay president on the Republic ever. Like, I don't get this ideology. Like, how
It's fear
distort? I know
porn,
people
dude.
saying what?
It's fear porn. It just shows like that's a reflection of the information and the source they get their information from, where it's like they're told to be afraid. Because I would agree. She has every right to feel that way.
Yeah, yeah. You
Even
have
though I
every
look
right to
at it and
say
I think
that.
that's batshit crazy. But
It's like just looking from an unbiased point of view. I knew so many people that are minorities that voted for Trump this time around.
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Like in 2016, the same people that were voting for Trump, I actually voted for Trump then because of the war stuff. Like I don't like the neocon wars, and some of them asked me, "How could you be educated and vote for Trump?" Because he's not batshit like Biden and Hillary.
Mhm.
Like you mean look at what happened under Biden. The world's on fire.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know.
We had peace deals in Middle East. We had a lot of things we were pulling out of some of these globalist things, and our economy reflected well because of it. Even though everybody said it was, it wasn't.
Yeah.
I would agree, but you have people that they're told to be afraid, so they're going to be afraid because they place their faith in the wrong things, in my opinion. Where it's like, I'm, I'm not going to be afraid of anybody's president. Even let's say she would have won, I wouldn't have been afraid. You know what I mean? Do I think it would have been bad and things could have gotten worse? Yeah, but I'm not going to be
Yeah.
afraid. Like I'd have been mentally prepared for it. I
Yeah,
was
I
mentally
mean,
prepared for when Biden won. When Biden before in 2019, leading into 2020, going into that election, I was telling people, it's like Biden wins, there's going to be foreign war, 100%. I says inflation's going to kick in. There's certain things that I knew that was going to happen when Biden got in. So it wasn't like I wasn't like losing my shit. I was
I
sitting
mean,
on the
yeah.
sidelines observing and just calling out what I thought. And sure, I might have got passionate about certain things, but I wasn't afraid.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, the only reason why I bring these topics up, even though this is a sports car channel, is just because I think a lot of people are programmed to think in a certain way. And I'm just trying to encourage people, don't fall into that trap. Always think for yourself and don't let emotion get in the way. So that's why I do these streams, everyone. And, I may lose subscribers, but this is not my business. So,
Yeah, dude. If you don't want to hear this type of talk, you have every right.
yeah.
But it's like we, you know, we should be able to talk about goofy shit.
Yeah.
I think, I think, I think the election was a direct result and evidence where it's like people don't care about this mainstream shit anymore. They want to think for themselves. They want to hear different things. I think that's what Trump represents with all of his flaws, but I think that's what he represents. His brand represents, it's like, this is the anti-narrative. This is like, we're going to talk about the things we want. We're not going to bow down to woke culture and censorship. We're just going to say it,
Yep. 90s was awesome. MJ, Seinfeld.
Yeah, dude.
Like, it was a culture. Like, okay, you may have been a Democrat, Republican, but like, it's like, who cares?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, dude. The 90s was great.
90s was awesome. 80s, I was just, too young to remember. So, and I think everything changed after 9/11.
Oh, dude, it did. 100%.
That was like the turning point.
100%.
It's the info war, as Alex Jones says, who predicted 9/11.
So what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What implications do you think? Since we've been talking about the election and stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think? There's any correlation in the card hobby? What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, it's polarized because there are people out there that would think people like SCR, Dan, or me, maybe not so Dan, because Dan can communicate effectively with the other side, but they think that we're crazy, we're nuts, that we need to get our head checked. And that's like politics, because like, say Harris supporters, if you're like even I didn't vote for Trump, they'd look at me like I'm crazy because I have these theories that they can't even agree with. And we show them all the evidence out there. Here's the reason XYZ. You may have your particular bias, but here's what's going on. They're like, no, that's not true. What do you think?
I have a couple thoughts of how it would reflect in the card hobby. I mean, obviously, the economic status of the country is going to reflect in the card hobby. So economically, yeah, if things get worse or better, I think it's going to affect the card hobby.
Right.
From a social, cultural standpoint, I think it'll affect the hobby where I think you're going to see a lot more pushback against somebody like a Rubin, against a Gary V, where it's like, I think the American people voted. They were like, fuck the establishment. We're tired of all this. You can't say this. You can't think this. You can't do that. You know what I mean? I think you're going to see a lot more of the hobby where I think you're going to have a lot more pushback now.
I mean, we've already had pushback with like this Cardboard Life.
Yeah.
He pushed it back on Ruben pretty hard.
Yeah.
SDR has, I have, to a certain extent.
And this is no shot, but I look at somebody like a Cage, the things he was promoting and kind of about in 2020, 2021, 2022. Yeah. And I see him today and I think this is good. Like,
yeah,
he's shitting on people. He's saying how he really feels. Like, he's calling things out the way he sees it. With, it seems like, a fearlessness. And I think that's what the hobby, that's why I think a lot of the social landscape is going to reflect in the hobby, where I honestly think people are going to get tired of Fanatics.
Yeah,
I think people are going to be like, these cards suck. It's not that special. You haven't done anything to make the collectors benefit. Like, all you want to do is gamble. And like, yes, you're going to have profits and people who want to gamble. That's always going to be a thing. That's always been a thing. But I think I think you're going to have more people that are like, I have a buddy of mine he's like, I'm like, Fanatics is bullshit. And he loves to buy wax and stuff. And he's like, I'm done buying wax. I'm done buying this shit. He's like, these cards are worthless. He's like, this is basically junk wax era stuff. He's like, they're manipulating scarcity. None of these cards matter. And he's like, the price points don't make sense. He's like, this used to be fun. He's like, I could buy a box of Topps and open it on a Saturday and watch college football and enjoy myself and not have to worry about, taking a complete loss and like getting shit on. He's like, I'll buy some of these Fanatics boxes or some of these, Panini, whatever. He's like, and it sucks. He's like, I don't even enjoy it. He's like, I'm just addicted to it. So I think you're going to have a lot of people that are going to be willing to push back, kind of, if that's the correlation I'm trying to make, where it's like with the election, since I asked the question, where I think enough people were just tired. I think specifically when you look at the numbers, you brought up like minorities and stuff with the election, and like when I look at the numbers, I don't see ethnic, racial demographics.
Yeah.
I see gender. I saw men come out where they're like, we want to be men again. We want to say fuck and shit and make jokes and have fun and not have to worry about getting canceled for everything. Like, I saw men that were like, fuck the mainstream. We're tired of this shit. I didn't see racial demographic. I saw gender. That's how I looked at it.
That's interesting. Like, because I had it a little different than you did, but I became a pariah among brown people in 2016 going for Trump, and I was vocal about it. And now what I found was really strange was that all the people like either talking behind my back or telling my wife, like, how could you think like this?
Mm-hmm.
They're now voting Trump. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, dude.
That's how much things have changed. Now, I have different reasons why I voted then versus why they're voting now for him.
Mm-hmm.
But
I have family members. And friends
yeah,
that come back to me that there was some tension and turmoil in 2020 that they've come back to me and they're like, I'm voting for him. I'm voting for the orange bad guy because, and it doesn't mean that I was right. I think the truth is right. There's only one truth. I'm an idiot. I just say what I think I observe what I think is true.
right.
So you can't deny it. It is what it is. But I had family and friends that reach out to me and they're like, yeah, I'm voting for him. A lot of the things you said were right. It's not about me. I'm an idiot, but the truth was right. Like you said about your family, it's just, it's a shame.
Or like,
it's a shame you had these issues in 2020 where people wouldn't hear you out. But it's like, if you have cognitive mind and you watched and saw around you what was going on, like, certain family and friends that are in certain professions, they looked around and they were like, damn, I didn't realize how bad this was. And
now,
they kind of like about face, and they were like, well, I'm going to vote for him this time because we're done with this shit too. We're tired of it.
So the thing is that suppose things get sour under this administration, economically speaking, will these new voters, will they turn on him like on a dime?
Say that again.
So say, I know I've said this so many times during this podcast, but like the economy, it goes under. Something insane happens. Well, these new voters that went for Trump, are they just gonna like be like, okay, everyone was right about him, F this guy, and and all this pent up angst among these women? I just see that societies could go crazy, much crazier than 2020.
I do. I agree with
As
you.
like we had our banking system then. Like, what if, I don't know if you've heard of bail-ins, but like, what if like some banks are like, yeah, we don't have your money, you're out of luck, and and the FDIC, they can't bail us out.
Yeah.
So you get maybe a portion at best.
You're definitely going to have people that are going to be in that mindset, and they're going to feel that way. I think you're going to have people who would be like loyalists, where they're going to be like blindly supporting Trump. I think you're going to have a group of people that probably gave Trump a chance and voted for him. And they're going to be upset if something like that were to occur, which I would think is very probable. You're going to see economic issues in the next 2 years. That's where I hope people who voted understand, like, these economic cycles take time. Like, it's not like, oh, he's inaugurated in January, like, oh, everything's going to go back. Everything's like the like the flip of a switch, everything's going to get fixed. Like these things take time. I've been telling people I know, like, I think it's going to take 5 to 10 years of some economic conservative, not Republican, but conservative economic plans and blueprints to really stabilize some of these economic issues. I think it's going to take more than one presidential cycle. I think the COVID situation, there's going to be lasting effects that are inevitable. That's just my opinion. I think it's going to take.
Speaking of COVID, you make a great point because we had these lockdowns, right? With these lockdowns, now I can work from home 3 days a week, 2 days a week. What's going to do to the ramifications of these office buildings? Who owns them and the banks?
Yeah, dude.
That has not been solved yet.
No. Remote work.
It's a time.
Yeah.
It's a time ticking bomb, in my opinion. And until that's solved, I don't.
And let's say
I wish Trump the best of luck.
Let's say these companies, okay, and they go to a more remote situation, and all these buildings in all these cities, that are businesses, they're vacant.
Yeah.
And what happens? What happens to real estate prices? And I think you're going to see a big shift. Do I think it's like, oh, this is the end? But you're going to see a lot more, like the suburbs are going to benefit from this. I think rural places are going to benefit from this. Like, I think you're going to see real estate prices shift where it's like people are going to get out of the cities. Because I agree, like, why would you pay rent if you're a major corporation or a big business? Why would you pay rent in downtown whatever city when it's like I can pay these people remote and there's no point in me having a HQ? You know what I mean?
Unless you're like one of those big companies.
Yeah, if you're a manufacturer, that's different.
Yeah, like if you're a mid-sized company, there's no point of working in the city. Yeah, Patches has it.
Yeah, dude.
Commercial real estate crash on top of auto loan delinquencies will be the start of it. Yeah. With the repo markets that I'm talking about, reverse repos. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do a video. How would I do? Do you think that people would lose their mind if I said the title is Deep State's going to crash everything and sports cards will, and including sports cards? Something like that.
I think it's worth saying. People will get upset. Dude, people get upset.
People in the comments say
people get upset with you no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. Like, people will be like, "Oh, you're your tinfoil, no crash yet." Look at Tesla.
Like when you see in Patches, like when you see big econs start to leak, why wouldn't you think cards? Like, who's going to keep? I mean,
look at this comment. You have to make a thumbnail with your mouth open for that video.
That's funny. I can't remember what I was saying now. I totally forget my train of thought because that was good. Make a thumbnail with your mouth open.
Yeah, but what were you saying about?
I can't remember what my point was now. I've read that. I totally lost it.
But
when you see certain certain pockets of the economy start to like shit the bed and stuff, why would people keep their money in cards? And like, why wouldn't cards take a dip? I think that's what I was getting ready to say. So it's like, yeah, a lot of these political ramifications are going to affect the cards. I don't care what Ruben tells you, and I don't care how much wax is. Like, that shit's not going to sustain. You're going to see a lot of modern cards go to shit, just like you saw a lot of 80s and 90s junk wax go to shit. It's just how it is.
Right. Anyways, I think it's kind of getting late on my end. Had a long week. So, any last thoughts you want to mention?
No, not really. I appreciate you having me on, man. It was a fun one.
No, yep, that was good. Too bad Reckoning didn't call.
Yeah, next time. That would have been nice. Hearing a Reckoning rant is always worth, worth the time.
Yep. All righty. Thanks for coming on, Steven. Where can people follow you again?
I'm on Instagram. at Splenda Sports Cards. And that's basically it, man, because I'm not a content guy. Basically, at your discretion is when they can follow me, whenever you decide to have me on.
All right. Thanks again, Steve.
Hey, thanks you, brother.